Welcome to Hearts and Stripes, your one-stop shop for all things military marriage. I hope our discussions and interviews equip you with the tools to start or grow a beautiful marriage as we address the benefits and challenges of MILF marriage. I believe life's most precious moments are worth celebrating, so I'll help you design your marriage blueprint in alignment with your core values. Thank you for joining us, and remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of Hearts and Stripes. We have a fun heart-to-heart today. You may know her through her acts, through her PR company, or maybe just being a phenomenal connector in the Milspouse creative community. I have the one, the only Moni. Please say hello to our lovely guest today.
Hey, friends. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for that stellar intro. Goodness.
Yes, Moni. Girl, we are super excited to have you on. So if you are living under a rock, you maybe don't know who the fabulous Moni is. So for those who don't know, please share a little bit about what your magic is, what your claim to fame is, and share a little bit about your military marriage love story.
Absolutely. So, gosh, I don't even know where to start. It's like a loaded question. Like, how many bottles of wine do you have? But no,
there we go, right.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I am a military spouse. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have been married for 21 years this year.
Woo, yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying how my husband and I met at Fort Polk, Louisiana, so I know exactly where you are.
That's right.
So we've been married for about 21 years. We have 3 kids, 15, 11, and 7. So it's been a really great journey. I actually went to school for public relations. I have a degree in PR and communications. I got, after going to 6 colleges, following my husband around the globe.
Look at that.
I finally got that degree. And then, we started having kids and had a family. And we just decided early on, there was one parent that was going to stay home, and that was me because Roy was active duty. And we just really wanted to have a different life for our kids. And so I took the role of, home provider or stay-at-home mom, however you want to say it. Mm-hmm. So I stayed at home for 11 years. I moved around everywhere, started Facebook groups and, mom groups everywhere we went because I'm an extrovert. So, I really love to be your company.
Yes.
I'm I just moved here. Is there a group? Can I join it? Great. I'm at the group. How can I support? How can I be involved?
I love it.
And it's crazy because I didn't even realize, I'm a big faith believer, and I don't even realize some of the things that you're doing are preparing you for, bigger things that you're going to do. And it's so true. And sometimes, when you're going through it, you're like, this is just a thing. It's nothing. How is this going to prepare me? And it really did. What I was doing before has prepared me for what I'm doing now. When you said in your intro, so a community builder that is, I don't even know how that happened. It just
that's you. It's just natural.
It's just weird. It just happened. So I stayed home. I did all the groups, and then my son was turning up 5 years old, and he was starting to pre-K. And I was so I went from SAHM to WAHM, so that was stay-at-home mom to work-at-home mom. And then I was nobody's going to be at home with mom, so who am I going to take care of? And I quickly realized that I needed to start doing something. And so I started blogging. That was kind of my first entrepreneurial venture other than MLM stuff I had before. I had a free car with Mary Kay. I did Mary Kay. I did Sell and Dot. I sold 31 bags. Girl,
you did it. All the things.
I did it all. So I started writing. I had a blog called Dog Tags and Heels. I started writing for Corvius Military Housing, Lincoln Military Housing. And it was so cool to get that check every month.
Nice.
Or every week in the mail, like just for sharing my insight as a military spouse. And I feel like it was really encouraging, and it just was like a small dose of what I needed to like really do what I'm doing now. And then we moved, and my son was going to start kindergarten, and I was like, so now what am I really going to do for like 8 hours without any kids? Like,
right.
I just write a few blogs, like what is happening? So I started looking for work. Obviously, the first thing I did was go to the base and ask for, hey, I'm looking to start a business. I'm looking for work. Of course, create a resume, take the federal job. Like, it's like the class you take to learn how to apply. And so I did that, and then I started going to, like, Upwork and things like that with my resumes and going on interviews. And that was, I found it to be one of the most discouraging parts of my journey, because I know that I have so many great skills and I'm talented in so many ways, but people don't see that when they're looking at a piece of paper.
Yep.
Or a resume that comes across their desk, and they're like, oh, this person worked at this place. Look at all the gaps. Look at the different types of work that they've done, and they're just like, it's inconsistent. There's no, I don't know, I feel like there should be something, that says, like, people need to meet more in person. So anyway, I just found it discouraging, and the last blow to everything was just interviewing with this really great company where we were stationed in Maryland, and I went through the third interview, and they were just like, you are absolutely qualified for this, but we just can't invest in you right now because we know you're going to move again.
Wow.
And, yeah, that was like really one of the hardest days for me. It was like it was fight or flight, right? So at that point, you're like, well, do I just accept the loss of nobody ever seeing the potential because of my resume, of what the perception is, or do I do something about it? So anybody who knows me,
you're a doer. Absolutely.
I'm a doer.
Not taking it laying down. I like it.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I had my day. I cried. I was really upset. I felt very discouraged, and I had a good 24 hours of that. Didn't last long. Things like that don't last long for me, because I don't like it as well. So the next day I got up. I think it was a Saturday. I went downstairs. I created an LLC before I poured my first cup of coffee.
Love it.
I really seriously had zero idea what it was. And my husband goes, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know, but I have a degree in public relations and communication. So
there you go.
I want to figure that out.
Yeah.
And so that's how, like, this whole thing started. And then I went to Emsoy. That was the same year I went to Emsoy. And at that time, Emsoy was just like this absolutely, oh my gosh, it was, the year I went was phenomenal. It was game-changing.
Yes.
I met Corey Weathers, Moni Jefferson.
Love Corey,
like,
yes.
So many spouses that were so encouraging and uplifting. And it was a really great year. And I left Emsoy with, like, some kind of something. I don't know what you want to
had that fire. That's what it is. That fire. Yes.
I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. He was like, whoa, wait, what? I was like, yes. I started putting all these things into place. And around that time is when I started the Milspouse Creative, which is my baby. That community was created out of a necessity for me to find out how other spouses were doing it. So I always say, like, I started it kind of selfishly because I needed some help. But now it's just grown into, like, this melting pot of military spouse entrepreneurship. It's like it's just a great place to be if you're a military spouse.
And I love it. I love it. I love how connected everyone is in the group. It really is, or I should say the vision for it was ahead of its time. And we kind of talked about that a little bit in the pre-interview. But it's like everyone and just society in general is moving in a direction where things are more so done online and virtually. And that platform is just so powerful because you have so many people who are just sharing with one another, so many people who are connecting, and the resource stream is it's amazing.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I'm just so proud of that group. They're the ambassadors that come in every week. People pay them hundreds and thousands of dollars for the advice they come in and pour into the community. And it's such a blessing to have them, number one, volunteer their time, and number two, offer their skill sets and their gifts to the group for free.
Yes.
And it speaks volumes about the spouses in the space that are more seasoned or who have done it. Just doing that, putting a hand back and pulling people to come with you, it's pulling other spouses up with you to uplift them, to help them, to share, give them the connection that they need, the resource. Don't keep it all for yourself. There's no need for feast and famine. And that's something I pride myself upon in this group. You can ask a question. You always get feedback. You always get support. We rarely had anything negative in the group. I think we had something 2 years ago. But for the most part, everything is very, very helpful. And it's
very engaging, too. So I think that's what makes the difference. It truly is a community. And it's just awesome to see that grow. But, I mean, even outside of that, you've done so much. So you've done Dog Tags and Heels, LLC. You have your PR firm that you run and manage. You have what, 3 apps now?
Yeah.
We try to keep up, everyone who's listening. Okay?
Oh, my God.
So Moni is taking over, and she's not just, trying to have the monopoly on this thing. She is in there in the group with some amazing leaders, I would say, in our community who have figured it out. And they are still helping, they're figuring it out, too, to push themselves to the next level, and they're bringing all the newbies and those seasoned spouses who have those experiences all in there together. We're pulling each other up, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's so nice to see them thriving.
Yeah, so I know you're all about PR and branding, so I wanted to see what PR or brand tips could you kind of share with us, and then or maybe just explain what a brand is, and then we can talk about how that translates to your marriage.
Absolutely, and I think it's so funny that you asked that, because in the beginning of having my business, I had a personal Instagram, then a business Instagram. And I was like, you know what? People just need to know who I am. I'm not trying to hide all this, I just want to share. And I think, PR has evolved. The evolution of PR is a beautiful thing, and it changes every single day, which is crazy because it's all digital. PR used to, back in the day, it was just press releases and purchasing ads, right? Hey, you want to be seen, purchase this ad on this billboard or on TV. But now with social media and Facebook and Instagram, anybody can be an ad. So I always like to explain public relations or your brand as your brand. Who are you and how are you serving people in a unique way? Yeah. And to me, that speaks volumes. So the way I serve may not be the way another PR person serves. Also, the people that follow me may not be the same people that follow another PR person, because I am my own brand. I'm sharing how I serve. I'm sharing what I do and how I do it. So I would say I had about 2 years into my business, because this is it's 2015. It's only been 5 years. I was like, man, this is so hard to keep up with like my personal and business and personal and business.
Oh,
I started to realize, and I did some testing. Like when I posted personal things on my business page, I would get more sales on my stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And what I found was that people don't want to attach themselves to being sold to all the time. They really want to feel like they're a part of what you're doing and who you are, that you've invited them into the living room to have a cup of tea or vodka or wine or a cup of coffee or whatever it is. It's like, hey, this is me. I run a virtual business. This is what I do. Come join me. Like, let's have a conversation. They don't want to be sold to. And I think that's what has really helped my business. My brand is completely niche. I mean, it's so niche. It's insane. Like, it's military brand. It's just very, very niche. And then more specifically, I serve the military spouse entrepreneur. So I think that you need to figure out, like, who you are, what your brand is, and then how you're speaking to people, and then niche down from there, because that's how people will really be attracted to that. You know what I mean?
Yes, I absolutely love that. So what I heard you say is, like, you had these two separate accounts. You had your personal and you had your professional. What you found out was that people crave that connection with the person. And I love the way you said that. And for those who don't know, a niche is just narrowing down and specifying, like, who your people are. So a lot of brands often, and I can say that because I'm an entrepreneur as well, a lot of brands don't necessarily want to cast the net, and everyone is not their people. Now, there will be people that are outside of their niche or their ideal audience that will be attracted to them, but most companies are speaking to a specific type of person or couple or lifestyle or group. They're being very focused in their approach, and I love how you're approaching that when it comes to a brand. And I love the fact how you said you just had to be true to yourself. So, I can say that for my brand as well. I tend to take a more personal approach too, just because I want people to know who I am, that investing with me on an experience, if I'm doing wedding and event planning, and not just investing in me, but my family. Like, this is what I'm trying to build. These are my goals and my dreams. Thank you for being on this ride with me and investing with me, because they feel a part of something bigger, not just, I'm just paying for this random service for you. So I love how you shared that. And then, so with a brand, it tends to be very personal. So the way I look at that, connecting that to marriage even, like my husband and I, we have a brand. And it's something that we cultivate between the two of us. It's like, he's the chill one. I'm probably going to be the one that's more out there and energetic. But still, we are a united front when we come, and we go out. And I can definitely see that you and Roy have that dynamic, because that takes a lot of confidence. Like, you already have confidence and energy, but to have that support and him just like, hey, like, what you about to do? You got this LLC. Right. I know you're going to make it happen. You guys had that united front, and he was supportive in you going out to that. And I think that speaks volume to your marriage brand, too, because we're stronger together, right?
Absolutely.
You end up being that dynamic duo, taking over, like, go, honey, you keep promoting and doing your thing over here, working hard, getting the mission done. And they're cheering for you as well. So it's amazing.
I love it. Yeah. And Roy is the biggest, like, oh my gosh, even the other day, he was like, I have an idea for AMC. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. He gave me like 3 ideas in one day. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, but that doesn't work right now. But we'll put it in the think tank. Like, they're really great ideas. Or he'll give me feedback like, I don't know if that video spoke to your audience or something. Like, he'll tell me, like, I don't think that he's just really honest. And But there's been a lot of transition in that, right, too, because, like,
yes.
they're used to, like, going to work and, like, they have their task and they do their task, and we're wearing multiple hats. So, you know, and I talk about this on my podcast, too. Like, that's what my episode was about, is, like, balancing and expectations and what it really means to be an entrepreneur. And the apps and the PR company and the Milspouse Creative and now AMC, all of these don't come with some type of trial, right?
Right. Right.
And so it's all been a learning curve for both Roy and I. I went from stay-at-home mom to I have 4 businesses now. You know what I mean? So it's a transition. But I will say Roy is the biggest advocate for me. Like, he totally respects everything I do. He's always trying to find ways to help make my life easier, help implement anything. He is amazing. So it's really good to have him.
All the points, sir. All the points.
He's getting all the points.
Yes.
You know, and then I think too, it's important for people to understand that, like I said, there are trials that come, and the most important thing when you are growing your business or you are a brand, like we talk about, is the communication and just talking about expectations and what you expect from your partner.
I love the C word, yes. Communication. It is so vital.
It's so hard.
And take a lesson from Roy, because he's protecting the brand. I love how you said that he was saying, like, oh, I don't know if that spoke to your audience or any. He's protecting the brand. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And you have to do that, communicating with one another. That's what it does. You're the united front. You want to make sure that you're successful independently and collectively in the relationship. So that's huge.
And then, like, going to events, you know, it's different going to events. When I go to events and Roy comes with me, he's my guest. I'm here to talk to the big guys and close the deals and, you know, things like that. And so it's just kind of like talking about expectations, like, hey, you know, this is what I need from you this evening, or whatever, or, you know, I'm going to be gone and for 6 days, you know, these are the expectations, and, you know, just supporting each other. I think it's invaluable. But like I said, I think it doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of conversation that needs to happen. Always talk about expectations, because I think that's where Roy and I screwed up in the beginning. We're doing good now, but
no, that's great.
Just
that is
talking about, like,
learn.
Because my biggest problem was this: I expected Roy to know what being an entrepreneur was. Like, I expected him to understand that I had to do invoicing, that I had to do billing and budgeting, that I was the secretary, that I was the finance guru, that I was the community manager, that I was the PR person, that I was the marketing director, that I was the, you know, like everything. You know, that's to me where I feel like I messed up. And some of it was because I didn't even know.
Right. It's a learning process, right?
Yes, absolutely. But then looking back on it, I can look back and say, man, I wish I knew all that. You know, so I think just talking about, like, these are the struggles. I'm trying to figure out how to build this website right now, and it's going to take me 40 hours because I don't have $5,000 to pay somebody.
Hey,
you know, so
I get that. I'm here with you.
But, you know, like, I would just assume that he knew that. You know, so, but no, he's absolutely wonderful. He supports me. He's on Instagram now. So he's like, you know, he's not on social media. So, but he's got on Instagram now. He likes our comments and makes comments and stuff.
Yes. And that is awesome. I love that you learned that lesson early on, and I'm so grateful that you're sharing it with this audience, just because it is a big one. When we put expectations on our partners, it puts us in a very awkward situation, because we're expecting you to, like, live up to the expectation that I put on you, and they have no clue that any of this is happening, by the way. They have expectations of their own, and they're like, I mean, I didn't think this was going to take all of that, and what about this other thing that we used to do over here? Like, no, like I'm not doing that because I have to fix this website and invoice this person and follow up on these leads and build my network. So I love the fact that you talked about just managing those expectations and keeping those lines of communication open, which helps make a stronger brand overall. So that is fantastic. Do you have any other advice, maybe a big thing that you've learned that you would want to share with our Mill Marriage community?
Absolutely. And just to be, all transparent, I think that our lifestyle is very emotionally and it can be spiritually draining, right? I would say to tap into your mental health resources. I think that they're underutilized and they are almost neglected. And I think that people sometimes are ashamed of asking for help. But I think right now is the time to put that aside and to really tap into those resources to keep your marriage strong during transition because it's needed.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is.
It's so underutilized, and it's almost like a shame is carried with it. If you're military and your marriage needs help, it's like, no, if you're a military family, your marriage needs more help than the average.
Right, more than the average. Right. And I think oftentimes we try to play it off as if oh, we're strong, we got this, it's
normal.
Ma'am, this is not norm. This is not the norm. There's only a very small percentage of this country who even serve in the first place. We take on a lot of stress, and we're always flexible. So no, I really dislike those those thoughts and those ideas around asking for help because there's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
but it's the old mindset, though.
Yes, it is. It is an old mindset.
It's such an old mindset to be like, mira, espérate, wait, you talking to somebody about your business? You know what I'm saying? That's the old mindset. Just like going to the doctor, black men don't go to the doctors.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That it's the old mindset.
It is an old mindset.
Time, it's a new day, and I think it's okay. And it needs to not carry any weighted shame with it. But I will say, for me, that's one of my biggest takeaways. My second one would be date your husband. Go on dates every week. Just do that.
I love it.
Could be anything. It doesn't have to be expensive. It could be little. Just go for a walk. Just little things. It's the little things that count.
Absolutely. Those are some fantastic tips. Definitely listen to what Moni is saying. Go ahead, ask for help if you need to. Check out those mental health counselors and providers, and continue to date your partner. It is so needed. Those are just some amazing tips, and I thank you so much for sharing with us. This Heart to Heart has been fantastic. If you're an entrepreneur, I know you got something out of this. We are going to link all of the groups and things so you can plug in with all of the networks, all the things that Moni has. Thank you so much for being here with us, for sharing. We so appreciate you.
Oh, my gosh, I appreciate you. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
This podcast is sponsored by B. Carroll Events for wedding and event planning and design. Okay, everyone, you know what time it is. It is time to EYS, earn your stripes. So I love the fact that we talked all about brands and the marriage brand, but I don't know if you realize that a brand is really the foundation of a business, right? So we talked about assessing the foundation in the previous episode. We're talking about the brand as a foundation for a business, or how we represent that foundation, how it's reflected and viewed outwardly to other people. So what I would love for you all to do for this EYS is head over to our Instagram, Be Carol Events. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell us what your favorite brands are. I know you might not think of it this way, but there's a reason why your favorite brand is your favorite. Something about it resonates with you, and we want to get to know you a little better by knowing what your favorite brands are. I'll say, I know my husband loves BMW. That was like his go-to brand when he was looking for a car, his new thing. Right now it may change a little bit more, but I know that's a brand that he would tag. So think about it. What brand speaks to you? Tag that brand. Let us know in the comment of any of our posts. What is the brand that speaks to you? Let's EYS. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. This is Hearts and Stripes. We are the few, the proud, that aim high and are forged by love. Always ready, always there. We are Mill Marriage Strong.